Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Just delicious. Today is, say it with me, people. It is Friday. Woohoo! Um, September 12th. And yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week, I think, no matter where you are. Uh, so many things, so many things. Um, and I almost don't know where to start. Actually, I take that back. I do know where to start. Let me start with my week personally. I apologize for no podcast on Tuesday. That's because I was taking my mother back to Tucson. So the visit did not go well. She ended up staying for 4 days instead of 2 weeks and only wanted to go home. So she much prefers being back in her house with her friends and doesn't want to be here, even for a visit of any length. So there we are. So I ended up driving to Tucson back and forth twice in 9 days, which was exhausting and a lot and not at all what I had planned on or hoped to do. So yeah, it's about 7.5 hour drive, 8 with stops. Um, so I did a podcast last Friday, but in case you didn't hear that one, I drove to Tucson on Monday, spent Tuesday handling some financial stuff for my mom and various business things, drove her back here on Wednesday, uh, had a few days here, and then Monday drove her back to Tucson, drove back here on Tuesday. And yeah, that was a lot. So I'm feeling more rested today. Yesterday, I went to 10,000 Waves and got my body and soul massage treatment with my favorite practitioner. And so, like those of you out there who have been listening for a long time and have heard my ruminations on self care and what does that mean, and trying to figure out, like, when is it spending money on yourself frivolously, and you know I don't know, the whole money thing, right? Like, how much do you put money away for the future? And I know a lot of people are worried about money right now, especially in the U.S. with the billionaires apparently not happy to have uh, most of it. They want ours too, but yeah. So I am doing this massage, this treatment, um, once a month. And it's funny because I have been getting this treatment from this same guy, Karma, at 10,000 Waves, who I highly recommend, uh, for longer than I've lived in Santa Fe, probably 20 years now. And when I first moved to Santa Fe, I thought, I'm just going to come and get this treatment all the time. And did that happen? No. It ended up being that the only times I really went up to 10,000 Waves, which is this great Japanese style spa up above town, on the ski road up to the ski area. Um, yeah, the only times I go are like when people were in town visiting. So yeah, it's a funny thing, isn't it? So like, I came here as a tourist and went there, and but then once I was local, I stopped. So, oh, and I just remember I forgot to get my locals discount yesterday. I really need to remember to do that. It's 10%, not inconsiderable because it's kind of expensive. And when I said to my friend Megan, that I was doing this, she said, "Oh, because you're rich now." And it's like, well, I'm not. rich now, and I worry about, like, am I putting enough money away for the future, since I will be pretty much on my own that way, I figure. But it's that, spending money on self care, right? This monthly massage costs less than I pay someone to clean my house, both of which are arguably, optional, disposable income kinds of things. Um, what do they call that? Discretionary expenses. It's not food, it's not shelter. Uh, but yeah, I've been doing that now for 3 months since, well, actually four, right? July, August, September, October. Because when Kelly was here, we did that. And then I went ahead and I've been doing a thing where when on my way out, I make the reservation for next time. So that way I don't fall into this, oh, I'll make that reservation at some point. I'll think about it tomorrow. So I've done that now for 3 months in a row. August, September. Oh, I'm sorry, July, August, September. 3 months in a row. What is time? And I'm feeling proud of myself that I committed to doing this. And no, it's not cheap, but it's also so good for me. And going to see him monthly, he's starting to learn where I keep tension and what parts need work and all of that kind of thing. And amusingly, he did comment that my body was much tighter this time than last time. And I'm like, gosh, I wonder why. Wonder if it was wearing myself out driving back and forth from Tucson, sitting in the car, right? So, yeah, anyway, I feel like I deserve some sort of 90-day chip, right? Maybe we need like AA has the Self Care Society, SCS, where you get a chip for keeping up with some kind of self care activity that is something you would tend to dismiss as being a frivolous expense or too much time or not worth it. I like this idea. Um, so, sort of segueing into the next thing, because I was thinking, I could put Sydney on creating that if we had a reader Discord or something. Because, so this is the other big thing, is this is probably not the last podcast. Don't tense up. The last podcast I will be doing on my own. I will still record the podcast, but I did hire someone to take over my social media, as I uh, wishing, hoping, and praying, uh, expressed the intention to do. And steadfast listener, Jana Judah Barr, suggested a recent graduate of his. He's a professor and professor of film. And this gal, Sydney, is now officially my social media assistant. And I have met with her a couple of times. And she has ideas, people. Ideas with a capital I. And starting with this podcast. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is, as soon as I record this, I'm going to pop it in a Dropbox folder for her. And she is going to, I know, okay, I want you all to just take a breath. She's going to edit it. I know. We are going from no production value to, I wouldn't say cream, although I think she'll probably do a great job. But she's going to make this higher thing professional. So we'll see. She wants to put an official intro and outro on it. She says, and lest you be worrying, I don't know if you are, but lest you do, she wants to keep the fresh and conversational style. So we'll have that low production value quality of chatting over coffee, but she will edit out the various mistakes and so forth. And like if I end up cutting it halfway through, so some of you know, like when I've done uh, two separate ones, because I don't want to have to figure out how to splice it together, I think she will actually splice it together. And she will do things with keywords. And she's very sweet. She's great. She rather gently asked if I would be open to a better microphone to improve the sound quality. And so I've basically given her carte blanche. I'm like, just tell me what you want me to do. Um, I learned what a Finstagram is. Did you all know what a Finstagram is? This is why I've been joking about it, that I've hired a certified young person with capital letters. So a Finstagram is a fake Instagram, which is, it's still on Instagram, but it's like it's your more personal Instagram account. So you have like the one for the brand and the books, and then you have the one for, I assume, things like pictures of deer and the sunflowers. So, and apparently the young people, TM, expect people to have this. So she's going to start handling all that stuff for me. Expect changes, but it shouldn't be hugely different. Killian's prowling his way through, but I think he's fine. Uh, it'll be interesting to see. And she's also going to, like, instead of having like the whole thing on Instagram, we'll just have snippets. So you can like get I don't know, a highlight or something. I am washing my hands of it, and I'm very excited to regain some time that I spend doing these things, or to not to put too fine a point on it, to actually get some social media things done that I have not been doing. I know. I really feel like I've fallen behind this summer. But now we are in the fall, which to me always feels like new beginnings. I don't know if that comes from, like I always loved September and the start of school. This is my favorite season. It's gorgeous season in New Mexico. There are sunflowers everywhere. I should put a sunflower picture on here. Um, I suspect, sidebar, that with Sydney we will probably not have daily pictures anymore. Those will be on the Finstagram, no doubt. Uh, but she'll probably like brand it with the logo and make it be all official and like, I know, who am I? What has become of me? Uh, yeah, but so, beautiful autumn with these golden sunflowers and the blue skies, and it's just the air is crisp and the sun is melting hot, and it's delightful. It's perfection. I live in paradise, and I'm getting my act together again. I had planned to start writing Magic Reborn this week. That got blown out of the water, obviously, with the extra trip to Tucson. So now I just wrote off this week. I thought I'm going to catch up on business. Why is it I'm always catching up on business, right? But I am. I'm catching up on business. I am. I'm finally going to set up my new laptop that I bought. I didn't want to mess with that in the midst of revisions. So, yeah, do that. I'm mostly caught up on financial stuff. I'm hoping to finish that out today. Disperse funds for the first time in a couple of months. Fortunately, it's not a lot of money, so people shouldn't be too mad at me. Um, yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of slowly getting a handle on things. And I was going to say something else. Oh, I've been invited to Tucson Festival of Books in March, so I will be there and doing that. That should be great. Um, and there was something else that was kind of fun. Oh, I'm going to be doing an event. If you are local to Nuevo Mexico, to New Mexico, down in Albuquerque, there is a bookstore called Books on the Bosque, and I am going to be doing an event there on November 2nd. So that should be really super fun. And so then the other thing I wanted to talk about, I think this is funny, is because after Bubonacon a few weeks ago, I talked about chatting with George R. R. Martin about just things, and like the mean person at Worldcon saying since he was going to die soon, would he have someone else finish his books? Spoiler, he is not going to die soon. He's doing quite well. But I talked about that. If you're a steady listener, a regular listener, then you will have recalled me talking about that. And I also brought up that he had told me that he's 70% of the way through that final book for A Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones series. Well, amusingly, to me anyway, some of the George R. R. Martin fan cast people picked this up, right? They're probably like looking for search terms and so forth. And if you're listening from that, welcome. That's great. I don't talk about George all that often. Uh, there was a fair amount made of me saying that I'm not close friends with George, but we're friendly, which I feel like is still accurate. And by that I mean, like he knows my name and we sit and chat and we have lunch and dinner together, and I've been to his house, but I am not an intimate friend. We're collegial. But I mean, it was funny because someone did tag me on Instagram saying, could they share the stuff from the podcast? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, publicly published podcast. And thank you for asking. It was very considerate and thoughtful and polite, but yeah, sure. But then they pressed me for more information, like, could I say anything else? And I was like, no, because I don't know, George's private life, right? But I do have a point. I think what's salient is because, like, my own Google searches turn this up, and they say, oh, well, that I reported this and 70%, and they're saying, which is the same place that George says he was 3 years ago. He hasn't progressed any. And I want to explain to you all something about percentages in writing books, because apparently, I don't know, this isn't clear to everyone. Because the other thing that George said is that this is the longest book he's ever written. So let me explain that if you are 70% into a 100-page book, which is a very short book, but I'm just going with round numbers. If you're 70% into a 100-page book, that means you've written 70 pages of it, right? If you are 70% into a 1,000-page book, then you've written 700 pages. So 3 years ago, he might have been at 700 pages into a 1,000-page book. And what George told me is that he told me how many pages he's written so far, which I don't feel at liberty to say. But let's say it's 2,000. It's not 2,000. But if he had written 700 pages 3 years ago of a 1,000-page book, and so he was 70% through. But he has since figured out that this is going to be a 2,000-page book. Then 70% of that is, I had to do the math really quick on this. I want to make sure. I knew what I thought it was, but I wanted to double check it. 1,400 pages, right? Still 70% in because it turned out to be a longer book, but that doesn't mean he hasn't made progress in the last 3 years. He may have written 700 pages in the last 3 years. He may have doubled the length of what he's written so far. So going with that percentage doesn't really tell you all that much. The book is coming. along with winter, right? All right. On that note, I am going to get this uploaded, probably for the last time doing this on my own, uh, and look forward to on Tuesday getting a whole new first cup of coffee experience. Dum dum dum. All right. Um, you all take care. I will talk to you on Tuesday. Bye bye.